Hello. So this is a new channel that I'm starting called The Secret Film Teacher. Now this channel's not going to do anything completely new. It's not going to revolutionize anything. It's just, as you can tell, I'm a film teacher and I'm secret. I want to remain secret. On this channel basically we're just going to talk through films, Blu-rays, DVDs, that kind of thing. As you can tell, being a film teacher, I've got quite a Blu-ray collection that I'm always adding to, always maybe selling some bits on to get more things. And today is just a quick haul video basically. So we're in lockdown here in the UK at the moment. There's nothing to do but sit home and look on eBay really for things that you don't need. I don't need to buy, but I do anyway. And that's what I've done. So I'm still waiting for quite a lot of things in the post, either to be posted or to come through to me. But 3 things have arrived this morning and I thought we'd quickly look through them and see what my thoughts were on them really. So first thing up is Out of the Past. Fantastic film. So Film Noir, Jacques Tourneur film, starring Robert Mitchum and Jane Greer. Robert Mitchum is fantastic in this film. This is, I've got to say, one of my favourite film noirs, I think. I've probably seen a lot of film noirs. I can't even put a number on it, it's so many. And I've enjoyed probably about 98% of them, 99%. A lot of them I've enjoyed. But this, I think, is by far my favourite still. Even though I've seen a lot more since seeing this one first. So this was really one of my first film noirs that I ever saw. We looked at this in college on the film noir unit. This was the one that the tutor showed us. And since that moment, really, I was in love with film noir. And I just kind of tried to find and watch as many as I could. But still, this kind of stands testament to really my favourite one, I think. So this is my first time actually owning it on Blu-ray though. I've got three or four different versions of this on DVD, sorry. So one I use solely for my film classes. The other 2 are kind of, or 3. I think I've got 3 versions. So the other 2 are just kind of special edition versions that I bought. Then I've seen a slightly more special edition version, so I bought that one as well. So I've ended up with 3 versions on DVD. So this is my first one. So this is the HMV Premium Collection, I believe. So there was a series of these that HMV released. So this is number 79, so I'm not sure how many they released. But this is my first HMV Premium Collection Blu-ray anyway. So it has this lovely kind of cardboard slipcover, which I always like on my physical media. Having a slipcover always makes it look a little bit better. They always seem to sit better on the shelf as well. You take a normal kind of Blu-ray and they're all curved and they never seem to sit. They sit nicely square like that. I really do love a slipcover. So this is the Blu-ray and digital download. Now I never use digital downloads, but there is a digital download involved in this. So you see what I mean about the slipcover. That just doesn't quite sit as well on the shelf as 2 slipcovers next to each other. So this has some special features, but not much. So commentary by author, film noir specialist. I can't get you to focus there, can I? So it's James Orsini. I've seen quite a lot of James Orsini things, and he is a film noir specialist. He's taught me a lot of things really that I never knew. So he is worth listening to. But it's a bit of a shame that that's the only special feature really. You think they could have done some kind of, considering really in film noir circles, in scholar circles, this is regarded as one of the best ones kind of ever made. You think they would have been able to do some kind of look back or something, documentary on it, whatever. But anyway, it is what it is. So then you have the disc, obviously, and then there are some like postcard, art card things here. So they've got on the back, not for resale or redistribution, promotional use only. So they're still sealed. So I don't know how many's in there. There looks to be a fair few actually. 4. So there's 4 different art cards, which are always nice to have. I mean, they don't really do anything other than sit in the case, but it's nice to have them anyway. And then we have what is described as a film poster in the eBay listing that I bought this off, so I'm not going to unfold it now, so I'm assuming that's just a film poster probably of this art, I would have thought. So very nice, really. I always like to get extra things in the case, so a lot of people see kind of art cards and posters and things as a bit of a waste of time in their releases. Am I going to be able to get that in one hand? Yes. A lot of people see them as a bit of a waste of time. I like them. I think it adds a little bit more value to the release. It makes it that little bit more special. You've got a little bit extra to it. Yeah, and then when it kind of comes in a lovely case like this, it always feels a little bit more special, doesn't it? So that's the first one anyway, Out of the Past. Fantastic film. Film noir style, I would really check out. I'm really hesitant to call it a genre because it's so similar to other genres that I don't think it is of itself a film genre, really. It's more of a style that filmmakers were going for, I think. But if anyone hasn't seen film noir as a style, I really, really recommend checking it out because it's yeah, certainly one of the most interesting ones. And then as you come out of the period of classic film noir, so generally the last kind of release of film noir is seen as In a Lonely Place with Humphrey Bogart in it. That's kind of seen as the last real film noir. We start to get into neo-noirs, and then you get into the neo-noirs of the 80s and the 90s, which are just fantastic. My favourite probably being Last Seduction, I would say. The Last Seduction is a fantastic film. I think that's 90s, 1993. I've said that. I think it's 1995. I'm not sure. It's definitely the 90s, mid-90s somewhere. But that's a fantastic film as well. So this style has kind of evolved into neo-noir, which is absolutely fine by me because there are some fantastic neo-noir films as well. Michael Mann's Thief is probably seen as kind of one of the first films to be described as a neo-noir, I suppose. It has elements of crime, but so do film noirs too. But that was the first one to be attributed that label of neo-noir, generally, I would say. But fantastic film as well. But this is where it all came from. So the next couple are a twofer. They're from the same seller on eBay. So my collection is mainly made up of boutique Blu-rays. If you don't know quite what boutique Blu-rays are, and I only recently discovered that there was actually a term for boutique Blu-rays. I just thought they were kind of like special editions, really. Boutique Blu-rays are releases from houses that do certain special editions, and they have a certain kind of prestige, I suppose, attached to them. So a great example would be Criterion. Arrow Video here in the UK do something similar. Eureka, Masters of Cinema. These are all kind of boutique houses that put out these boutique Blu-ray releases. I accidentally stumbled across another one that I'd never heard of before, which is Vinegar Syndrome. Now, I had never, ever, ever heard of Vinegar Syndrome until I accidentally stumbled across it on a forum that I use every so often. And they mentioned Vinegar Syndrome, so I was very curious as to what Vinegar Syndrome was. So I Googled it and then found out, wow, actually they put some really nice releases out. So I went onto eBay, Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, and then these two came up. Well, this one came up first, and then the second one that I bought from the seller, I wasn't really planning on buying, but it came up as I kind of bought this one. It said something similar that you may like, and then I bought both. So this is Malibu High. Now, I've got to say, I'm really, really impressed with the kind of level of release that this has got. So I will definitely be on the lookout for more Vinegar Syndrome releases in the future, because so all the writing on here is embossed on the back too. It's all embossed. It's got this lovely colour scheme on it with this kind of minimalist art. It looks absolutely stunning, to be honest. And from the side, in your collection, that is going to look really, really good. So, Malibu High. So every teacher in school wanted to flunk her, but nobody dared. So I've never heard of this film. I'd never heard of it. So this is the first one that came up when I searched in Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray and eBay, and then came up. So I give it a Google search on Malibu High, and really, I can't believe I've never heard of this film, because it seems kind of one of those forgotten gems of the 80s that I'm really interested in seeing. So Arrow Video kind of specialise a lot in putting out these forgotten gems. For from the 80s and the 90s, or things that generally don't get a massively wide release, which seems to be what Vinegar Syndrome are as a company, which is great. So the basic premise of this, from what I can tell, I have not watched it yet, it has only come this morning, is that Kim is a smart-mouthed high school senior whose boyfriend dumps her for a snobbish rich girl. Basically, she then starts sexually blackmailing her tutors in school, which is strange in itself, then going into prostitution too, and then eventually becoming a high school age hit girl. So this is why there's a picture of her on the front holding a gun. I have never heard of this film, and from what I've seen online, it's kind of like a cult classic, really. So I'm really keen to check it out. So I will be watching it as soon as I can. So you have, this is the dual feature thing. So you have Blu-ray and DVD. Always prefer to go for the dual features if I can, because it's fantastic to have so the way we do it in school, the way I show films to my students is, fortunately right now we don't have a Blu-ray player. The way laptops are going, none of them have disc drives anymore, so you have to have an external disc drive to play a DVD through it. And we only have DVD players of those. The Blu-ray ones are still very, very expensive. I've tried to get them to buy one, but they won't at the moment. So any dual release like this means that I can show my students the DVD if I want to. Now this probably is not going to be shown to them, because from the synopsis that we've just read, it does not sound like something that my students should be watching. Although I'm not entirely sure what the rating of this actually is. So it should say on the back, I'm assuming it's an R rating. I can't see it anywhere. Doesn't seem to have a rating on it, actually. Oh, so this is from 1978, so I was a little bit wrong saying that this was an 80s classic, because it's 1978, so it's a little bit earlier than the releases Arrow Video tend to put out, because they seem to focus quite heavily on the 80s and the 90s. So it's 1978. So I'm assuming this is an R rating, and I'm assuming that if you kind of ported this over to the UK, that this would probably be an 18, which I can't get away with showing, obviously. And to be honest, with the subject matter, I don't think it would be kind of appropriate to show in the classroom, really. But that is why I always kind of go for those dual features, because I really like to see, I really like to have a DVD as well, so that if it is a film that I think I can get onto the curriculum for any kind of reason, then I will. Now, there's a hell of a lot of special features on this, which is great, and my camera does not want to focus on any of them. So I'll kind of read them out. So you have so this is a newly scanned and restored in 2K from the 35mm original camera negative, which is fantastic, which is always great to see. And that's when you know that kind of these releases are the best that they can be, when they do that. So you have a group commentary with the producer and the actress, video interviews with the producer, actress and actor, Q&A from a screening at the New Beverly Cinema with producer, actress and actor, Struggle for Israel from 1976, which is a short film by Lawrence Folds. Now, I'm not sure who Lawrence Folds is, because I haven't seen his name anywhere on the back here. So this is directed by Irvin Berwick, who apparently directed the film Hitchhike to Hell, which also I've never heard of. So there's two short films by Lawrence Folds, who I'm not entirely sure who that is. Oh, it's the producer, sorry. So two short films by the producer of this, called Struggle for Israel and Grandpa and Marika. So it's got a few special features, which is, you know, a little bit better than the Out of the Past kind of version, which is good, because Out of the Past has no special features and this has quite a few. The one thing I am noticing about these Vinegar Syndrome is, so I've got another one here, is they don't seem to put resources out with them. So there's no kind of booklet or poster or anything extra. But I suppose it seems to me like Vinegar Syndrome are going for more of a release on lesser known films. So they've classed this as an exploitation film. Fantastic, love an exploitation film. And they just seem to focus more on getting the release out there to the best of the ability for the release, so the best picture quality, that kind of thing, rather than they do about messing around with booklets and things, which is absolutely fine. I mean, yeah, if they're focusing on releasing things that probably don't get a wide release or have probably never been released, then I can only kind of commend them for that, because we need a lot more companies doing that, really. So we have quite a few at the moment. There seems to be a bit of a boom of them at the moment, which is great. But I will certainly be keeping an eye out for more Vinegar Syndrome things as the years go on. And this is my final pickup of the day, is the Amityville, the Cursed Collection, they've called it. So this is Vinegar Syndrome as well. So this has 4 films in it. So it has Amityville Horror, The Evil Escapes, Amityville 1992, It's About Time, Amityville, A New Generation, and Amityville Dollhouse. I have not seen any of these Amityville films, I don't think. I may have seen The Evil Escapes. That rings a bell. I may have seen that one, but I don't think I've not heard or seen either of the other 3. So this is going to be a really interesting set. I wasn't planning on buying this set, actually. I didn't even know this set existed, actually. The Amityville collection is something that really does interest me, and I'm a big fan of films from that age. So Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Amityville, these are all kind of the staples of American horror back in the 1970s and 80s, aren't they? And I do really like that period of time. But I'd never kind of considered getting this certain collection, and I didn't really even know it existed until it popped up after I'd won this. And I thought, okay. So I paid just over £60 for this, £62 I think. Which, actually, judging on prices on this, so inside, again, there's no kind of, I just got to do this one-handed and it goes very, very slowly, because it's a really good fit, which is always a good, always shows that there's kind of some quality in it at least. So you have 4 Blu-rays in this, and I wasn't going to buy this because I didn't really want to spend that much. I've got a few more things in my watch item list, a few Criterions and things that I need to carry on the collection with, and I could have put more money towards them. But when I saw that they were all sealed inside, they've never been opened, any of these, which is fantastic, really. To have this set and not open it must take some real doing, really. Some kind of self-restraint that I don't have. But that I saw that they were all individual Blu-rays and that they were all unopened, that kind of swung me towards it. And yeah, I've also found out that this is kind of out of print now, and out of print releases I've got onto the boat with, really. If it's something that I even only half want and I know that it's out of print, if it comes up for a decent price, then I will tend to try and buy it, because getting your hands on things out of print at the moment is it's just really hard, and the prices that they command are just crazy. So in downsizing my Blu-ray collection the last time, and I think probably my wife is going to make me downsize my Blu-ray collection again very soon, but in doing it the last time, I sold quite a few Arrow Video Blu-rays that I had, the kind of window version, so it's almost a slipcover but it has a window here so that you can see the inside art. And one of those was George Romero's Day of the Dead. I sold it, I think, for £50 or something, which I thought was really good. Wow, I've got quite a lot of money on that, because I think I bought it from new and it wouldn't have been any more than about £20, 25 maybe at a push. That goes for now over £100. Also, in that time that I downsized the collection, I sold my version of A Third Man, the Criterion collection, A Third Man. And I sold that for £130 actually. I sold it to a man in Greece who was really kind of big on his Criterions, and we had quite a long discussion about it, and I was happy with selling it to him because it was quite a lot of money. We needed a little bit of money at the time. But he was a very nice man, and he knew his stuff, and we had a really good conversation about it actually. Now, I'm not sure if A Third Man Criterion Blu-ray has actually gone up any more in value, because I'm not sure it could get any more than about the £150 it was when I sold it maybe 2 years ago now. But I really wish I'd have kept hold of it, because that is, now as I'm bringing the collection back up, that is one thing that I wish I'd have kept, and I'm keep my eye out for it coming at a good price. I never managed to get The Man Who Fell to Earth with David Bowie in it, the Nicholas Roeg film, isn't it, I believe. Never managed to get my hands on that one, and that one's quite expensive too. So I didn't sell that one because I never had it in the first place. But I do regret some of these decisions to sell. But those Arrow Blu-rays, certainly I do regret selling some of those. I've still got a couple left that I had a bit of a realisation when they were still on eBay I thought, why am I doing this? So I took them off quite sharpish, but I'd already sold a few at that point, and I'd sold a few Criterions as well at that point, which I do regret now. But anyway, the joy is in buying them back, I suppose. Now that Criterion has a kind of UK arm, which it didn't at that point, that was 2 years ago or so, and they didn't have a UK arm at that point, so it was, you had to buy them from America, you had to buy them over eBay kind of thing. But now they do have these UK releases, don't they? So anything going forward now has a UK release, which means it's a lot easier to get hold of. But the American releases can be quite hard to get hold of. You have to pay the import taxes now, and with Brexit and all that, that's going to come to a lot of money. So you have to rely on them already being in this country and someone selling them on eBay. And then the people who sell them on eBay aren't blind to the fact that some of these are worth quite a lot of money. You might get the occasional steal. So I managed to buy Notorious, the Alfred Hitchcock film, on Criterion, which, as far as I know, is quite hard to come by. I don't see it posted often on eBay, certainly not. I managed to buy that for £12, I think, as I buy it now, because the case was a little bit broken on the bottom corner there. It was just the case. So all I've done is got another case and put it all in there, and now I think if I listed that, I'd probably get about £25 or £30 for it, because I don't see it listed very often. And it doesn't really matter how rare it is in America. If you're selling Criterions or releases like this, if you're selling American releases in this country, it doesn't really matter how rare they are in America. It matters how rare they are here and how often they come up. And I've seen a lot of things that really, in America, are probably quite easy to get your hands on. And I've seen them go for quite a lot of money, just because in this country, it's so much easier and cheaper to buy things that are already here than import them over, because you've got the high postage fees, you've got the import fees, which are only going to go up. So it's all a bit, so I've seen things go for quite a lot of money that really aren't that rare, but because they're American releases. So I'm trying to get as many kind of American releases as I can. I probably won't buy anything for a little bit of a while now, unfortunately, just because we kind of have plans to do things to the house and whatnot. I can't get them back in with one hand. Do things to the house and whatnot, possibly move maybe. So we kind of need to save some money up. So really I shouldn't have bought these, but I did. So I've got a few things coming through the post that should be here either kind of over the weekend or maybe early next week. I might do another video of them when they come in. But for now, that is really kind of all I've had today. And I think it's a really good collection, to be honest. I think that is a really good haul. So if you like this video and you want to see more, please give this a like, give me a subscribe. I'm going to try and post as much as I can, just about my Blu-ray collection, new pickups, maybe even some film reviews in the future, although there's quite a lot of YouTube channels that do film reviews now. So just thought it'd be quite interesting from a film teacher's perspective to see what kind of things I find interesting. Thank you very much for watching.